Hey, hi Joel. What up, dude?
Gonna do a little race review from inside the peloton. So now we have the man of the day, Rick Noble, on screen.
Wait, you gotta tell what is the race, dude?
Oh
I
shit!
have
Right,
no
right.
idea what
Never
the
mind.
race
So
is.
the race is the BBCH Cola Express.
Right, you can check out the hot jerseys, dude.
Yep.
Right, that's the man to look out for. Other than
Yeah. So Rick Noble. So we heard from the Delhi guys that this was the Rick that was coming, and as you can see on screen, he has a 374 FTP, and he did a crit the week before in the Netherlands, a Cat 1 crit. So he was the man to watch. Race kicks off as we planned. Imu goes for early attack.
right, I think before the race, we decided that one man should always be up front because we were less in number.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense to have the rest of the group do the chasing.
Not having to worry about who's up ahead. It sort of eases off pressure. Here you can see Rick going for attack, me jumping on his wheel, and NJ jumping as well.
Yeah, this was quite a sketchy moment for me because everybody wanted to jump onto NJ's wheel.
Yeah,
It's surprisingly they always want to do that at the wrong time.
exactly. It's like everybody merges into one lane of like riding, and very easy to touch wheels, especially
Yeah.
now considering that the right lane is full of traffic. It's not very safe. So here we see like things are settled down for a moment, but then by the time we come back, NJ and Rick have gone ahead, and Imu's with them. So right before we hit Egypt, you can see Equipe at the front picking up the pace and trying for a mini surge to try and bridge up.
Yup.
And this is where
yeah, this is where the Egypt climb starts.
correct. Yeah.
And this is in my point of view. I could see that Imad's gotten dropped from the Rick and NJ group. Before he gets caught, I wanted to push a little on the climb, probably go for an attack so that I can regroup with him and like somehow keep the pressure on the group before
Yeah, so
behind.
we see here as the pace slows down, you go for a surge, and a moment we'll get Trailblazers' point of view, and you can see that you're really sending it right here for a long, extended 30-second plus attack, putting the pressure on the group at the back.
Right, and at this point of time, we had decided early that because of the speed breakers at Egypt. Oh, and this is Imad. I tried shouting at him, but it didn't work.
Because of the speed breakers at Egypt, you can carry a lot of speed through, and the peloton has to bunch up. But you can see Rick and NJ just motoring on, switching turns. Like if you looked at the Strava file, it was like a perfect over under for like 2.5 hours. So at this point, like the attack from you fails, so I come to the front and see if I can like inject a little pace into the group. Because we can see Rick and NJ up ahead. They're like 30 seconds up ahead. So
15, I think, 15,
at
20.
this point, yeah, okay. So we're trying to inject a little pace in, but yeah, as you can see, there's like a lot of gaps between the wheels. So I didn't know this because I'm at the front, right? So the moment like gaps like this form, it just takes one person completely missing the plot, and then you've got separation, and then that's not something very good when you're trying to chase back two people who have FTPs higher than anyone else.
Yeah,
in
and
the
everybody's strung out, right
Yeah.
now. Like we can see that the pace is a little higher, and
Yeah.
this is a downhill section, by the way.
At this point I was doing about 350 to 400 watts, just trying to inject a little bit of pace, and you can see the field strung out quite a bit.
Right.
And then I flick through, and then nobody flicks through. And that's when you've got like this massive gap that's built up. And that's how I got away. Didn't really plan on attacking at that moment. But yeah, I made a mistake. When NJ and Rick went, I was supposed to go, but I missed that opportunity because I got boxed in. And also then when I realized, I didn't know, I thought you were with them. I didn't know Imad was with them. So
Yeah, I so wish it's good to like have an opportunity and fail.
Yeah.
But when you don't get an opportunity is when
Yeah.
that's kind of.
So at this point, I think you try bridging up, or
No, not really. So I was kind of like undecided on what to do because you are 50 seconds
50 seconds, yeah.
to 1 minute ahead of the main peloton.
Correct.
I wanted to sit back as much as possible, but I'd already sent 2-3 attacks on the group, and I knew that if I go hard enough, nobody will be able to follow immediately. Yeah, it's that point where you have to decide that you don't want to look like you're chasing your teammate, and but you also want to bridge up to him, right?
Correct. So after this U-turn, this is you guys taking the U-turn, but I took the U-turn a minute ahead. That's when like the wind just slapped me in the face, and like any pace or any headway I was making on NJ and Rick just completely disappeared. So me working there. The moment I went into the headwind, here's me asking our car to ask you to come up, and they're like, yeah, not yet. And I'm like, no, please, someone bridge up to me because I'm dying out there alone.
The headwind was brutal.
It was absolutely brutal.
Oh yeah, that's me trying to bridge up. So
Is that the Kolar flyover?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's the Kolar flyover. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then there you cramp.
Yeah, I looked like I had a bug in my thigh. And it was, then I decided not to do this
Yeah.
because bridging up to you would have taken quite an effort.
No, the thing was, the moment if you had like got a little bit of a gap, the guys would have come and told me to stop and then to join
I
up
guess,
with you.
Yeah, that's where like race
Yeah.
radios help because you don't have that time lag of inexperienced people
Correct.
trying to because our support car didn't have people who really race bikes.
But here you can see NJ and Rick motoring on. Look at the jersey flap, like the headwinds were mad.
Yeah.
So at this point, the peloton closed the gap to me with the help of Equipe at the front, and Abhiram sort of rolled off the front and joined me. And I told him like, give me 2 minutes, bro. Let me just catch my breath, and then I'll put some more pace in. So I came back to the front after 2 minutes, and
It's that point where they can see you,
Yeah.
but nobody wants to do that extra work to
correct.
catch you.
Let's just try and see if they break, their spirits break. They've brought all this way through, and see if you or Imad could come and join. But
something happened here.
so Imad joins, but I turn back and look, and everyone else is gone. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm not doing this. And I sort of just fade off to the back and just try and catch my breath because I've been out for about an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Or more.
close to 65-70 kilometers
70,
now.
65 kilometers on my own. So I was just, at this point, my legs were toast. I hadn't had time to drink because at that point I just focused on keeping this gap to the peloton as much as possible, because then it gives time for an attack to be launched. So right here, if we pause, has just gone through the speed breakers extremely hard. No one else is taking those speed breakers that
I
hard.
can see like 10 bike lengths.
If Imad was to like surge through this right now, he would get really good separation.
Yeah, I mean that's Kiran Raju bridging up, but then there's no work the moment they catch Imad.
Yeah, and so now you see here where like Imad's been caught, and then now sort of everything is like a lull. So people are going really slow. So we're going at the speed of 47 right now, because it's like a downhill that slightly starts kicking up. And that's when I find a moment where, I'm sort of coming in from the back with a little bit of speed. So I just pull off to the side and just throw down a few watts. And like the speed quickly changes from 47 to 57. And that's how you get like quite a bit of separation. You can see the effort that these guys are trying to do now to catch up to me, because now it's an uphill drag, like it's a false flat uphill. I carry the speed through a downhill into the uphill. So bridging up then is a little harder, but then they catch up and then you sort of just roll off the front.
Yeah, that was quite easy.
Yeah, I really
guess
expected people to catch you and try and bring you back, but nobody bothered.
I think what really happened was they saw me attack a couple of times and go nowhere with it.
Yeah.
So I could hear people in the peloton say "Jane de," or something. So then I realized, okay, cool, let me Jane de.
Yeah, and you built up about a minute and a half.
Not a minute. Last time check I got was a minute.
And that's when like nobody was working in the peloton, and like everyone just assumed, okay, you're third now, and here you're telling.
Yeah, so I got a time check here saying 1 minute. It's because it was only 10 kilometers to go at that point in time. I wanted to play a psychological game with the rest of the peloton, so I told the support car to tell them I have 3 minutes on them, which is like not possible. But still, like for them
we can see you up ahead on the road.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
The Mysore guys, the guys in red,
Right.
try to like close down the gap to you like a lot. It was down to like 30 seconds.
This is about 4 kilometers to go, I think, at this point in time.
Siddharth made the attack and Imad followed it. So I'm sitting back in the peloton, I'm watching it go, and I thought, okay, Imad's gonna catch up to this guy and sit on his wheel. But the moment he catches up, he pulls through, and I'm screaming from the back, Imad, stop working. And I don't think he heard me. They worked together. Imad doing the majority of the pulls. What was it normalized that we saw for 10 minutes?
296 watts.
296 watts normalized for Imad for 10 minutes. That's like way out of what should be possible, especially considering you have your teammate up ahead.
Yeah, he definitely is a diesel. Like especially when towards the race end, I don't know how he finds.
Yeah, there's some energy somewhere. That energy like transfers blood supply from the brain into his legs. Yeah, so
Right, but like-
here's one thing. Okay, so now you attack.
Yeah, because there's still like 3
3
kilometers,
kilometers
to go.
So this is perfect. You play 2-on-1, right? So Imad sits on
Yeah.
and lets this guy close the gap. But no, that's not what happens. He chases you. And now at this point, you're just wondering like what's happening here. So you don't know. You're putting in your a final dig to get separation,
Yeah.
and you don't know he's following you. But if you look at the gap that you've created to Siddharth, if Imad's not there, that's a big gap to close. But Imad's there, so he just has to close on to Imad, and Imad's dragging him up to you, and which is exactly what happens. He's getting a nice draft. I mean, he's not sitting very close, but with the headwind that we had, that's a pretty substantial, draft. He's probably
Right.
doing 50 watts less, and then you see what's happening, and you're like, man, fuck this.
I think, by this time I'd been out for 20 kilometers.
Yeah, easily.
And I was kind of like disappointed.
Yeah, and that's where
Didn't
everything
want to
fell
work
apart.
too much.
You give someone a toe, and then they've
Right.
got enough energy for the last 300
Right.
meters to kick. And
Yes.
Imad is sitting and grinding because apparently his standing power isn't as good. But yeah,
I have no idea what happened in the last 2 kilometers
yeah, it
after.
doesn't. There's not much. There's no footage of it either. But this is the moment where
But
we lost everything.
silver, golden, platinum, platter served third place.
And he was pretty psyched about it because if you look back, he was like,
Oh, for sure. Like
he was drained.
for sure. I mean, to get to a point when you're 2-on-1 and
Yeah.
still like beat them,
Yeah. So then.
well, worst strategy ever.
I guess how not to ride as a team, and so that's how we lost P3. We lost P1, P2 by me not chasing Rick and NJ,
Right.
and then we lost P3 by doing the worst team strategy ever.
Thanks to Trailblazers, Yuvraj and Denil
For a lot of this footage.
for a lot of the footage. Yeah, these guys show up every time and like capture the race as it is, and that's a brilliant way to go back and learn and see what happened wrong.
Yeah, so check out their video on their channel.